Small business owner, remote worker, entrepreneur, have you heard of CoWorking? It's Huntsville's latest hidden gem and inspiring an affordable community workspace. Situated in the beautifully renovated Lincoln Mill campus, just minutes from downtown, Coin is the ultimate co-working space in Huntsville, offering creative yet professional workspace, an unmatched networking community, and affordable membership pricing. Your business will have zero problems adding a little coin to your bottom line. Consider Coin your all-inclusive resort for professional workspace. You simply pay an affordable monthly membership and you unlock amazing amenities, including professional, modern, and complete workspace, team meeting spaces, air printers, copiers, and scanners, Google Fiber Wi-Fi, locally sourced drip coffee, and so much more. From affordable flex space memberships to private office options and everything in between, Coin Co-working has exactly what you need to be excited about work again. Take care of your office space headaches and you can focus on achieving your career goals. Declare your independence from your current drab and boring office setup today and schedule your tour of Coin Co-working. Learn more about Coin and schedule your tour today at coincoworking.com, and all this information will be in the episode notes. Welcome back to another episode of Beyond Rockets. Today I sit down to talk with Christy Wimberly, owner of Chillabay Desserts, a new local dessert bar and hangout spot that opened in Madison at the Avenue Apartments. Welcome back to the podcast.
I appreciate you having me back, Clark. Thanks so much.
I think I originally looked back and seen when we first had you on for Honest, which you also own, and that was back in September of 2022. So it's crazy that it's coming up on a year.
Well, it's funny. I was here when I was here in September. I was just thinking today I was still in my sling. I had just had
Yes.
shoulder surgery, and I am 2 weeks out of another surgery. So apparently you are part of my surgery recovery program.
And I think on the podcast in September for Honest, you mentioned Chillabay for the first time. That was the first time you've ever mentioned it. I had no idea when we sat down that you were even going to do an ice cream and dessert bar.
Well, and I wasn't sure I was going to say anything about it, but like I told you when we were talking before the show started, you're so conversational and enjoyable to talk to. It just kind of naturally flowed to mention it. So
yeah, and I was like, wow, I guess we'll have to have you back on eventually for that. And so now here we are.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you having me back.
So I think you officially opened Chillabay in like May 18th was like the grand opening.
At the grand opening, we did a little soft opening May 3rd, and then did our ribbon cutting grand opening May 18th. So we've been there, and with a small business and a new business, we've done some adjusting of hours. We're kind of settled into what we think will be our regular operating hours now. Okay. We are open now 7 days a week. Which is wonderful, and then we've kind of just got set hours 2 to 9 every day.
Because the Chillabay is all kind of part of the Honest Madison location too. It's all kind of conjoined.
We are right next door. We're not actually conjoined, but we are next door neighbors. So we have some shared outdoor space. That's one of the things I really like about that location. Downtown's outdoor space has grown beautifully, but Madison came with a beautiful patio, and I've got a lot of outdoor seating for both concepts.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what did that, kind of a little bit of a backtrack. So we sat down in September. You mentioned Chillabay at that time for the first time. What did that process look like from September to the end of the year for Chillabay? Like, what did the build-out process look like in the time frame and your expectations versus what actually kind of occurred?
So I think when we talked in September, I think I told you it was Chill Desserts at the time. Yes. So we were finishing our build-out at Madison, and we opened there in October, late October. Had plenty of time to get through the winter. Our construction had some delays. Our contractor had some other projects. So we were like, we're fine. Yeah. We're a summer concept. It would help us actually to open.
Take your time.
Take your time. So we were sitting back with all the time in the world. And when we had our okay, it's go time meeting, we kind of started talking about possible trademark violations.
Really?
And it threw us for kind of a whirlwind.
Wow.
Got with an attorney and realized the Chill name was a little too close to some other concepts that, had trademark rights. And so rebranding at the 0 hour was our biggest challenge that I didn't see coming.
And was the inside sort of had that branding of what you already thought, or how far down the branding were you? We
had created logo, color scheme, everything along that line still worked.
Okay.
It ended up working design-wise better, and y'all excuse my voice. I had my thyroid removed, so my throat is still healing, and I'm a little scratchy. But the design, it didn't really affect the design as much, but it was really challenging coming up with a name that would still work with our design.
Yeah.
So what we ended up doing was Chillabay, because we basically threw our hands up and we had to come up with a made up name. We had to come up with something that didn't already
Yeah.
exist.
Wow. And like, and so I guess, was that at the end of 2022 or the beginning of 2023?
It was early 2023. I mean,
Okay.
we were really at go time. Like we had our team sit down and meet, and we were like, okay, you know, here's everybody's punch list of what we need to do. And right at the end, it was kind of brought up, and I followed up on it, and sure enough, it made a lot of work at the 0 hour that we weren't expecting.
Yeah, and I couldn't imagine. Like, I mean, like you're sitting in, you're thinking you're going to be opening up maybe next month, and you're sitting down to have this conversation, and it's, hey, maybe this can actually work because the name and all this stuff, and you're having to really kind of turn the whole idea upside down a little bit.
It was a lot of pressure. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, it was definitely unexpected. I did not realize the complexity of trademark law, and thank goodness for good attorneys that that do.
It's way above my head.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've recently, I'm in the process right now. I have been for the last year of getting my logo trademarked.
Okay, wonderful.
And so I think it should. I talked to the attorney a couple of weeks ago actually, and it should within the next month or two, I should get the official A-OK.
And that's, you've probably learned even operating under Beyond Rockets, as long as you have establishes right to that trademark also.
And it's like the name associated with the logo, and do you trademark the logo because the name's included, and like, do you trademark both or just one? And it's like, I have no idea what any of the things you're saying, but you do what you think is best fit.
That's exactly what I just went through. Yeah. And so that was the biggest thing I have learned, because, with Honest, we did a license agreement.
Yeah.
So, Honest had done that work themselves on the front end, and it just wasn't anything I'd even consider.
Yeah, it wasn't even a thought when you opened up the doors. It was just, hey, like, let's go. We're Honest Coffee.
It's a fun name. We'll go with it. And there. So that really was the biggest stressor early this spring, when we were like, we're midway through construction and we don't have a name for this place.
Wow. So, I mean, it's kind of that build out process and a little bit of sort of opening up a business that you've already have the expertise and the knowledge of opening up a successful business. So like, you're going into Honest, and you have Honest, and you've built it over the years. You're getting into this new concept of Chillabay. What were some of the things that you expected that you were ready for? And maybe what are some things that, you thought you kind of have navigated the terrain, but maybe were unforeseen things that come up that you're, besides the trademark, that you were like, wow, I didn't expect this to be an issue, or something that like you just really didn't know what to do.
So let's break it down to the parts that worked. I don't know if you guys remember when we opened Honest, we were able to do a pop-up at UG White.
UG White, okay.
And so we really approached Chillabay kind of as a pop-up ice cream shop.
Okay.
So I am setting all my financial expectations, all my performance goals, kind of from the performance model, because at the startup model, because at this point, nobody knows what a Chillabay is.
Yeah. It's a made up name.
It's a made up name. It's a made up concept.
Yeah.
It's something that honestly, and from, the time, I like to do things that are fun.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried to make Honest a place that's fun. And there was a demographic that needed a need for a gathering place.
Yeah.
I've had such success with watching the downtown community grow and getting to know the people and the business people and the groups that meet there. And I was excited about the Madison community, and I really like my location for the Honest Madison. And I just I don't know. I got a creative idea, and I just couldn't shake it.
Yeah.
So really that's where we are right now. We're still very much in this is a pop-up ice cream shop. We are learning what we don't know. I've been very fortunate with a creative team. The group that works with me have, we've created a menu that we like. We've taken some of the success at Honest, keeping it simple and executing it well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of the way we try to do our food. That's try the way we do our coffee. I mean, we try to make a craft product that is comfortable. So,
and like, there's never been, as far as like local, like family-owned sort of ice cream shops, there's really like, you have the big names that they franchise. You have the Cold Stones, the Brewsters, stuff like that. And so there's really not like a template or someone you could reach out to say, hey, how did you open up this? And what did it look like? And what are some trouble things that you had? And like we talked about it a little bit off air, like you're getting people even now that are coming, as Honest and Madison's been open since October, still coming in today that had no idea you existed and no idea that there was Chillabay there. And like, how are you trying to navigate that too, and making yourself more known and making the people in the Madison community, like you talked about with Sullivan Street kind of under construction for so long, let them know that you're there?
So that's this is one way. I mean, when you reached out to have me back out, I was like, it's perfect timing.
Yeah.
The biggest thing that threw me for a loop, I keep mentioning the surgery, but having surgery and being out right when we opened was an unexpected. It's life. I mean, you get smacked in the face by life. It's stressful.
Yeah.
And I am, so involved in all my locations. What I like about it is working with my team, getting to meet the people in the community.
And you're being you have to be in person
to do that. And I had just a harder recovery than I was anticipating. And so I have not been able to be there to support, my partner Gabby that works out there. She's running it, and she's a partner with us out there. And so she has that same drive and initiative. Caleb that works with me downtown, he's partnered in it with me. And so on top of keeping downtown on shape, he's been out there support and doing. And I think the biggest challenge is really just dividing myself into 3 pieces. And I'm still really much learning how to balance that time.
Yeah, and like that, and it sounds like you have a lot of A players that you have hired on to really help you make this possible. Because like it's not like you've architected what it is that makes this work. And you putting people in the right places to help you make it possible, which is a huge and hard thing to really do.
And honestly, if I'm being honest, what happened probably this spring, a couple of months ago, for the first time, I felt panic. I'm a laid back person by nature. Like I said, everything I do is based on what I enjoy doing and what's fun. And I felt like I was getting to a place where I had too much going on and I wasn't handling it well. And so thankfully, like I said, you mentioned my A players. My husband has been instrumental we've kind of simplified a lot of things.
Yeah.
And so right now the focus is my family and my management team, and they get my dedicated time. So when anything kind of flares up, I've really simplified a lot of the way I do things. Yeah. And it's taken a ton of pressure off, and it's given me the energy to focus in my leadership team that then is focused in their leadership teams. And I think it's working well for everybody.
Yeah, and I mean, like, I feel like this is not something that, like, if you're listening to this and you have a small business, maybe you're new into the business or whatever it might be, this is not something that just happens overnight.
No, it is very intentional. Yeah. It is, I mean, even going from 1 to 2, it's just, I am a firm believer, and this is, of course, my opinion. I'm a firm believer in the success of your business is your people.
Yeah.
And so I have been fortunate to love the people I work with. I think the world of them. They're personal friends. But I've also been privileged as I've grown and can look back like I'm so much different than I was when I took this on, in 2017. But to see my leadership teams grow, I mean, I can confidently say each store is autonomous. I mean, they don't need me. I was out. I was, like I said, the complications were unexpected. They executed everything beautifully because they are independent and self-sufficient and competent, amazing business people themselves now. And seeing who came to me as hourly employees grow into careered management. Yeah. I mean, you're right. It doesn't happen overnight. Yeah. It's tough. It's hard work. Small business has its own unique challenges. It can be, it can be who you are and not, you're Clark from Beyond Rockets. You're no longer just Clark.
Yeah. It's such an interesting thing too, because you think about, you've seen these people grow along the years. And I think, every business is a little different. I mean, opening up Honest versus opening up Chillabay, very different things. But being a business owner and a small business owner is one and the same. And so I think those lessons that you learned to be a business owner within Honest, I mean, had a huge push in getting Chillabay up and going as quickly as you did. Yes, it wasn't like you would have maybe wanted it to be a little quicker. Maybe in some cases, you maybe wanted the Chill to be the name of it, and now it's Chillabay. But like in hindsight, there's businesses that take over a year. I mean, they take 18 months to open, and you opened up relatively quick, and you're able to then kind of pour into the Madison community now and being able to offer them something that they never had before.
And what I'm looking forward to there, we talk about the growth and the walkability and everything that's going on in downtown Huntsville. Mm-hmm. In 2017, when we opened Honest, that was on the front end of that. I mean, that wasn't going on. We stepped out in faith that this was all going to happen. I mean, with the city leadership and DHI support and all the programs, and then, we've got amazing real estate investors that just have vision, and the fact that those groups were all able to work together to create what downtown Huntsville is, I'm seeing the same vision in Madison. They have, with the Avenue Apartments where we are with both my spots, we're in talks with a couple of other restaurateurs trying to get some more synergy there.
Okay.
And they have redone the walkability between downtown and Sullivan.
Really?
So we are shorter street. We go down through Short Street where there's an amazing tea room concept, and then it flows into downtown.
Wow.
They've redone the park between us and the stadium. The Concert in the Park series they're doing in Madison starts this week.
Wow.
So they're really we're on the front end there of a downtown bustling revitalized area in Madison as well.
Yeah, I mean, and what's crazy to think about, it's hard to look back and say, oh, downtown Huntsville never was walkable, because we've experienced it for so long, and it's crazy. Thinking about 2017, it's like I graduated high school.
We talked about when you left and when you came back.
Yeah, it's like I couldn't imagine, I didn't go downtown in high school. Even going to college here and being here in Huntsville, I didn't really start going downtown until, probably halfway through college. And it's like you were at the front end of this, helping this go. And then now it's like, now I live downtown and I can walk downtown. That's insane.
And you have a full plethora of choices of fun opportunities, great food. I mean, just lively environment.
Did you think when you got that location in Madison that, you were on the front end, or you just now kind of seeing that in the last maybe 4 or 5 months?
Well, I'm hopeful that we are. I've had some talks with their city council and the mayor. From everything I understand, that's their vision.
Yeah.
I've tried to bring some elements that I have loved about downtown with the artist. We've done some mural work at Honest.
It's amazing.
We've done some mural work at Chillabay, and we're working with the city of Madison to be able to do some public mural on the outside of the building as well.
Oh, wow.
So the fact that we're doing art installations, the fact that we're doing concerts in the park, the fact that we're doing just landscape revitalization. I mean, I know that cities in this area are benefiting from the population growth. And I think Huntsville has done such a great job of setting the precedent of the walk, live, enjoy our city. I mean, I think every city is trying to follow along.
Yeah,
and Madison is, they're busting at the seams. The growth there is incredible.
It's insane.
And the community is so behind it. I mean, I've had incredible support from the Madison community. There's an excitement that was here as we were starting.
And you're kind of seeing that a little bit now.
And I'm kind of seeing it.
Yeah. So I mean, that's incredible to see. So so kind of back to that initial, we kind of talked about the past, kind of what the future looks like a little bit, but now you open the doors, you have this grand opening of Chillabay. Was the success just incredible? I mean, I know when you opened Honest, we talked about that. You were amazed of how quickly it grew. I mean, is that the same sort of response you saw at Chillabay, and kind of what does it look like?
And that's where I was saying I had to kind of readjust my expectations and go back to the pop-up.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, one of the things, when you talked about some of the other options for ice cream, one of the things that, my family, we love ice cream. We love it, but we like it year round. Yeah. And, it's hard to go somewhere where you can have ice cream inside. Yeah. And most places you either have a drive-through or you have a walk-up window, or it's more just kind of designed as a summer concept. So part of the reason we did Chillabay was to make it a year-round. We've got 40 seats in there.
Wow.
We've done some of the things with the Wi-Fi and the seating and plugs everywhere. Some of the things you would expect in a coffee shop, we've got in our ice cream shop.
Wow, that's cool.
And so we're just hoping that as the new middle school opens and the more and more of the community finds out that we're there and it is kind of designed, we've got board games there, which was a huge hit. I can't tell you how many families come in and it was a trial. We were talking about all the trials because, kids. I mean, kids could come in and destroy your board games, or they could come in, and it's really neat to see families and siblings that would normally be squabbling sitting there and playing Candyland.
Yeah, and I think the pairing of Honest being right beside it too helps, because it's if you're coming there with your family and you want to grab a coffee, you want to grab an iced latte, you want to grab whatever that might be, but your kids want to have some ice cream, and you can kind of split up the two and then cover both grounds. The whole area is now walkable. It's going to be walkable in the future, and continuing to have these advancements, I mean, it makes it easy, and it makes it a place you can hang out. And I think that's exactly what we mentioned in the intro of this episode, was just talking about a hangout space for a demographic that didn't have a place to hang out, which is huge. I mean, it's one of those things. Do you see Chillabay? I mean, obviously you're, roughly a month or so into opening. Do you see Chillabay as something that you could potentially, replicate in Huntsville? Do you see it?
I would love that. I mean, that would be my goal. I'm a business person first.
Yeah.
I love small business. I love I love the P&L element of it.
Yeah.
So I've got to see if it's a viable concept. It's cool. I mean, I'm so proud of it. We're all so proud of it. It's like, you think about when North Alabama spring break, fall break hits, everybody vacates and goes to the beach. I mean, we are a destination beach. Our community loves the beach.
Yeah.
So it feels like a California beach retreat. It's bright, it's fun. It's I tried to make it all the things where Honest is warm and welcoming.
Yeah.
I tried to make it more bright and cheery, and it's a totally different vibe, totally different color scheme. But I'm so proud of the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
That I hope that it is a viable business. I'd love to bring it to Huntsville. I mean, if it does well and there's an opportunity and a space that it fits. Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of forcing anything. Because it's just too hard to do. I mean, it's hard to do when it lines up right.
Yeah. If it's small business is hard and it gets harder.
Yes.
It's nothing that, even if you have the greatest game plan, the greatest hey, if you do these 10 steps, you will have a successful small business. You're more than likely going to end up at step 11 and realize that you did not have a successful. There's just so many obstacles that come in your way. And I think it's a testament to just the business acumen that you have, that you've been able to launch and be a part of so many incredible concepts. And having both Honest locations be successful, having Chillabay now kind of your concept from the ground up. I mean, it is, I guess, it's a whole different feel for you. And I bet, what is that transition like to think of Honest, you were partnering with Honest to make it in Huntsville, and now Chillabay is all you from the ground up?
Well, Honest has given me the opportunity. I mean, we talked about how I ended up being the owner of Honest, I think, on the last podcast. Yeah. So Honest has given me, Juice Bar gave me the opportunity to see that, I love business. Like the P&L just made sense. Yeah. And the interacting with the community, I was able to get into a business and know that I understood the numbers on it and that I liked the people part of it. So I was very fortunate there. Then Honest just opened a door for me as far as doing it on my own, being able to get some respect in the banking community, having financials that made sense to bankers. Yeah. And so people willing to take a risk on me. I mean, you saying that, I mean, going with this, brand new concept to my banker, because I was shown that I've had, financial responsibility in the past. Yeah. It's a lot easier risk to 100%. Take.
I mean, it's we my wife and I definitely fought that when we were looking at getting our house back in February. It was having the business being around for the length of time is great, but then being able to show and prove and all the paperwork you have to fill out and just the time where you think you're going to, like you said, you think you're going to do something in 6 months and it takes you 10 months to do it or 12 months to do it. And you're just constantly in a back and forth process. And it gets, even for us, we got to the last week and it was we're supposed to close on Friday and it's, wait a second, I think we're going to have to close next Tuesday. Why? Because you need this, and this, and this, and this. It's the stress level is huge. And now that you've gone through Honest and now to Chillabay, there's a little less stress, I would presume, in opening something and kind of having that confidence to bring it to them and say, hey, can we make this possible?
And I think there really has been the one of the challenges that I can say honestly that I did not see. I think I had bigger expectations internally. I've got projections. Of course, I wouldn't do it without running low, mid, high. But I think I was a little more optimistic about the area is just new. Yeah. And it's just going to take some time to get. It's going to be a walkable area. It's going to be it's going to be a great destination once there's a little more growth in that area, and once people just even know that it does connect to downtown and you can walk and there's I'm getting involved with the schools there. I'm hoping to like I said, once the stadium, there's football games in the fall, we're hoping just to be a safe place for kids to come. I'm hoping that middle schoolers will walk over after school, mom's gonna get a coffee to come up at the ice cream shop, give a sixth grader 30 minutes to be autonomous and give them a little hangout time without in a kind of a safe space. So I'm hoping that there is a need for that in the community. And, like we said, TBD. I mean, people may just grab an ice cream and it not really being an experience. Yeah. I'm hoping that as we kind of introduce it and it does become more of a family fun place to go, that it'll grow in that way.
So, I mean, like, I guess if someone's listening, you know, I mean, we talked a lot about kind of the area it is, but the specifics on where they can find you and how they get to you and all of that. Because I think we talked about it off air. I mean, Sullivan Street had so much construction for so long, it can be confusing, but now they've made it easier to get to you.
And, you know, my youngest daughter works with me at Honest, and, you know, we live in South Huntsville. We're less than 20 minutes to Madison, which I think so much of some of the barrier we're crossing is just not having an awareness of Madison.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to get to us is if you just go 565, get off Walter Anna, cross over Highway 20, and then we're on the right. I mean, it's 4-lane all the way to us now. We're right before you get to the downtown railroad tracks in Madison. We've got subdivisions all around us. We've got, you know, infrastructure all around us. It's just getting people to know that it's not just residential at the Avenue, that there actually are, you know, restaurant opportunities there.
Yeah, and like on Instagram, you're at Chillabay Desserts, I believe.
Chillabay Dessert.
And that's all one word, Chillabay. And so you can find them there. And then they have a website as well.
Yeah, that was fun too.
Yeah. I love looking at I pulled up the website when I was kind of coming up with some questions and doing some research a little bit. I was looking at the website and it was just entertaining. Like I was just like, this is a cool website. Like this is something so different than really any website I've really seen for a local business here in town.
So we talked about the small business and how, I think we talked about this a lot on the last episode, how fascinating the network is of small business and small business owners and how we know each other and how we support each other. And, you know, I think we talked about Offbeat Coffee and, you know, them being good friends of mine and how, you know, how the competition isn't really there as much as the collaboration. Well, we were working on our website and my in-house team came up with the original idea. And, you know, they do all of our website management for Honest and do a beautiful job with it. But we were having trouble with the wave. And I don't know if you guys know Eli Walton. He's a local small business guy here. So he's a friend of ours. He comes in the shop. He's in the coffee community. He's, you know, worked in coffee for years. And that's what he does. I mean, he's got a small business that does. And he was like, I think I can bring this to fruition for y'all. And so he took it and cleaned it up. And I mean, it's an ice cream shop. It's fun. There's not a whole lot of information on a website except here's our menu. Come here for fun.
Yeah, here's our address. Here's our number. And that's it.
And that's it. There's not a, you know, we're hoping to, and this is, you know, now that I'm starting to feel better, one of the things our team's going to meet about is special events. Yeah. We do have a baby shower coming up in July. Just somebody that reached out to me and needed a spot. Another thing I thought about doing in the space, we have gotten a lot of requests over the years at Honest for meeting space, which we just don't have.
Yeah.
Well, with Chillabay opening at 2, now I've got a whole space.
And you can then cater the stuff from Honest if you need.
From Honest. So I'm kind of, you know, like you said, it's small business is challenging. If you go into it rigid and this is the way we're going to do it and this is the only way it's going to be successful, it's probably going to be more challenging than, I mean, you have to be willing to move and pivot and adjust.
So much pivot. And like, I think too, it's, you know, you're often as a small business owner, you're seeing what the community is wanting. Like, I think you can come up and I it's easy to do it. I mean, I do it myself where you dream up this amazing new product or this new idea or this new concept or this new service. And you're like, this is going to be a home run. This is going to be the best thing. I'm going to have clients and clients and clients. I'm just not going to know what to do with myself. And then you start pitching it, and you're like, well, you're kind of having to change it a little bit. Well, like, this isn't really what they're looking for. This isn't really how it works. This doesn't really work that way. And you have to be willing to think, okay, like, yes, this whole idea was this like great idea, but being willing to pivot doesn't mean that the idea was bad.
Right.
At all. Like, it just means that you just have to get feedback. You have to.
And you have to be able to be humble enough to listen.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what we think is a great idea, if there's not a desire for it in our consumer, then it's all it is a great idea.
It just stays on the shelf.
Exactly.
It doesn't go anywhere.
Exactly.
So, I mean, I asked this question for Honest. I want to ask it again. How much of your success kind of with Honest, now with Chillabay opening, do you contribute to being in the right place at the right time versus your hard work?
100%. Well, I mean, you know that saying, good luck is when hard work meets preparation.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a ball player. I've been a hustler. I love to work hard. I set pretty high goals for our group. I like to think I'm a laid back person. But I guess if you ask anybody that works with me, you know, there's a very clear understanding of be a responsible adult and handle your responsibilities. And so I think hard work is, I mean, it's the groundwork of it. I'm a big fan of letting things happen. I don't think you ever force anything. Like I said, I mean, I would love the idea of doing another one, but it'll have to be the right place and the right time. I mean, if there was an opportunity for an Honest in another location in North Alabama, I'd take a look at it. I've taken a look at a lot of opportunities before I said yes to Madison. I think luck is definitely part of it, but I think you have to work hard, and I think when luck knocks on your door, you have to be prepared.
Yeah, 100%. And I think what's interesting too, we talked about it earlier about the A players. I think there's no reward as a small business owner that you got to that success by yourself. Like you're not like there's no reward to say I did it by myself. Like it's important to have people on your side to help you get you there, because at the end of the day, it's not a one-man show. Even if you're the only person in the business, like for myself, like I've had a ton of people help me get to where I am, and I'll have a ton of people that will help me to get to the next step. It's not by yourself, and there's no special reward they give you that says, good, like you did it by yourself, congratulations.
If you do it by yourself, you're crazy.
Yes, it is. It's a tough road, and to travel by yourself does not seem like a fun thing to do.
And I think I said this on the last one. I have been so fortunate to be surrounded by creative, hardworking, smart individuals who have brought elements to the business that has built the layers of personality and character and foundation that is, I think why we've been successful downtown is and are now being successful in Madison. It's the collaboration of a lot of really intelligent people that I'm smart enough to get out of the way and let them do what they do. And I do. Yeah. And they laugh at me if they know if anybody comes to me with a good idea, that I'm going to turn it over to them to execute. So they that's kind of an inside joke. Don't bring her a good idea unless you want to have to be in charge of it.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for talking with me today. It's been fun learning more about Chillabay. We'll have all of Chillabay's information in the episode notes. You can find out more. Definitely check them out in Madison at the Madison Avenue Apartments. But yeah, thank you so much for being here. Continue to look forward to the success, and who knows, maybe in a year we're sitting down talking again about a new location you're opening or something else. So
we'll take our time.
Well, thanks again.
Thank you, Clark.